I wanted 20 mils, but I ended up pouring 30 of saturated sodium carbonate again. Put it in the flask to clean it all out. And dump it in there. And as we know, I'm going to shake and vent, and let that sit for 20 minutes, and I'll get back to you. Again, I'm going to have to add a little bit of water because there's a lot of solids in there. And I'll shake and vent it again and let it sit for 20 minutes. Okay, again, we're going to take the lower level and we're going to put it in a round bottom flask and save it. It's our stuff. And the top layer is garbage, so we're just going to throw it away. Actually, there might be some benzoic acid in there. I'll save it and try and get some benzoic acid out of it. I was only going to do 2 washings with the sodium carbonate. Okay, we're going to put our stuff back in there, our product and our DCM. But I'm going to do a 3rd washing because I made a lot of CO2 in that last washing. It was unreal. So I got 20 more mils of saturated sodium carbonate. I'm putting it in this flask to wash it out. Shake it up. And this time I'm going to add 20 mils of cold water along with that. Or actually, maybe not. Wow. Okay, it's looking good. Not many, it's not a lot of solids or whatever. So maybe that means a lot of the acid is gone. We'll see. Cap it up here, shake and vent. Alright, well, I'm going to keep doing this until it stops fizzing when I... Oh, it's slowing down right now. And I'll let it sit there for 20 minutes. I might actually do a 4th washing with some base because I'm still getting a lot of acid. A lot of carbon dioxide here. Okay, I'm going to add 20 more mils of cold water. Okay, I'll be back in 20 minutes. Well, again, we're going to take the bottom layer. We get rid of the top layer. It's garbage. I'm going to keep it, see if I can get benzoic acid out of it. Put my product and my DCM back in. And hopefully this is going to be the last sodium carbonate washing. I got 20 mils of sodium carbonate saturated, and then I put another 20 mils of water in. I'm going to add that. Shake, vent, let it sit for 20 minutes, and I'll be back with you. Okay, I'm not going to record it because I got to do this again, but we all know I'm going to put this bottom layer into this round bottom flask and save it. Top layer I'm going to discard. Then I'm going to put the bottom layer back into the set funnel. I'm going to shake it, vent it, shake it, vent it, shake it, vent it, shake it, vent it, and let it sit for 20 minutes. I'm just going to keep repeating that until all this is, because as long as I'm producing CO2, I got to keep doing this because the stuff isn't neutralized. But I'm not going to keep recording the same thing over and over again. So I'll get back to you when I have this neutralized. There's no carbon dioxide production each time, and each time I'll just add 20 mils of water and 20 mils of sodium carbonate that's saturated. Okay, and I'll get back with you when I'm done with this procedure because it's getting on my nerves now. Alright, I'm an idiot. As soon as I turned off the camera, I realized what I'm doing. I only did this one more time that I said. But it's probably the DCM it's not carbon dioxide. It's like, man, this has to be neutralized by now. I'm going to take the bottom layer, I took a pH, and it is 7 in the DCM layer. Now the top layer, let's take a pH of it. It is actually an 8. So everything is neutralized. And you know, by using, the reason why you don't use sodium hydroxide with this is because you'll hydrolyze your product back into the alcohol and the carboxylic acid. And so really, when I was putting in 20 milliliters of sodium carbonate, I should have been dilute, because that was saturated. I should have been diluting it before I added it into here, so it wasn't so strong to hydrolyze anything back. And maybe that's why I'm starting to get some benzoic acid here, or sodium benzoate or whatever, because I'm hydrolyzing it, putting so much of this base in, thinking that I didn't neutralize it. See, that's why you should use your pH papers. You should always use your pH, because that's what I'm trying to do, is neutralize it. So pH papers tell you, you know, without a doubt what is going on. So anyways, this last washing, thank God, because I'm really getting pissed off now. I got saturated sodium chloride. I'm going to put about 20 mils. I think I poured out 25 mils. And then first I'm going to put it into the round bottom flask to clean it out. Anything that got stuck in there, shake it up. Right. And then we will pour it in there and do what we always do. We shake and vent, shake and vent, shake and vent, and then we're going to let it sit there for 20 minutes. And finally, we will be done. And all we got to do is get our DCM out of there and then distill our product. And that's it. So I'm going to do this off camera, but you can see it's separating already. I'm going to shake and vent it a couple times. And like I said, when I come back, I'm just going to have my product and my DCM. I already take it out of this set funnel because I'm getting tired of videotaping this set funnel. So when I got done, I put the product and the DCM and the product in this glass. It came out to 50 milliliters. At that point, I was like, hey man, I put 50 milliliters of DCM in there. That's basically then all this is DCM. So I stopped filming at that time. But I did continue, and I put some anhydrous magnesium sulfate in here. And the next day I set up for distillation, which you can see right here. I distilled everything off that was, you know, between 39 and 41 degrees Celsius. And there was actually, this is actually DCM. I have a lot of loss of DCM. Because this is only like 20 mils. That's only like 20 mils or something. But I did get this much left in the pot. And the temperature was reading 110, and it was not boiling. So I put a vacuum on it, okay? Now this vacuum makes water boil at 70 degrees Celsius, okay? And like I said, this pot was at 110. And I put the vacuum on, and still nothing boiled, nothing. It was like there was no vacuum at all put on it. So I'm assuming all the water and all the DCM is out of this now. And that is pretty much, you know, it's still impure. It needs vacuum distilled. Although I'm not going to vacuum distill 20 mils. So I'll end up getting 10 mils because I'm going to have to leave 10 mils in the flash just to let it so it doesn't get too hot and crack. So it's a little better than last time. Last time I only got maybe a couple mils. I'm starting to think that this has to do with me using isopropanol instead of methanol or ethanol. Methanol and ethanol are primary alcohols, and isopropanol is a secondary alcohol. Maybe because of this steric interference, attacking the carbonyl, maybe maybe it can't, needs more time to be refluxed for it to work. I don't know. But I do know these are terrible yields. I mean, if I got 100% yield, I would have got 53 milliliters. 53.66 milliliters was my whatever. And I got, say, 20 minus 5 for impurity, say 15 milliliters. That's like a 22%, yield. That sucks. Well, my yield even went down lower. This cooled down to room temperature, and as you can see, there's a big solid chunk in there. There's still a little bit of liquid, maybe 2 mils. So I'm guessing that's benzoic acid. Benzoic acid, I think, melts at 120 C, and I had this at 110 C. So it was probably just dissolved, because it was almost at the boiling point of benzoic acid. Probably just dissolved in a few mils of ester I had made. So again, this is once again a failure. Oh, and another thing this might be, this big chunk that's in here, solidified, is sodium benzoate. But the reason why I don't think it is because that's a lot of sodium. I don't think that much would, be soluble in DCM. Water, yeah, but benzoic acid, I could see it being soluble in DCM. You know what I mean? It's carboxylic acid. It got the ring. But anyways, it's all just guesses. I'm starting to think that I don't know what I'm starting to think. I'm going to give it one more try with isopropanol. Then I'm going to move on to methanol. Let's see if it has to do with it being a primary alcohol. Because that's the only thing I can think of. Is it maybe because it's a secondary alcohol? So I'm going to go, I tried a little tweak on the first try. This try actually did exactly the way they tell you to do it, pretty much. Next try, I'm going full force. I'm doing everything I can do to make this thing work. So the first attempt, I put in not only excess alcohol like you're supposed to do, but I put in even more alcohol so I could distill out the water in the form of an azeotrope. But I only used like a couple mils of sulfuric acid, so I figured that might be why it didn't work. It just didn't have enough time to reflux with that little bit of catalyst. So the second time I used this time here I used a stoichiometric amount of sulfuric acid. I didn't distill anything out like an azeotrope. I just used the stoichiometric amount and I figured it would sequester the water. This did not work. At this time also I started to think that maybe I should use 10% sodium carbonate or sodium bicarbonate, whatever you choose, because that sodium hydroxide is too strong. That's why you use a carbonate or a bicarbonate, because with the water, the excess water and the base, you'll hydrolyze your ester back into the acid and the alcohol. So on this next attempt, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change the percentage of my washings. I'm going to use 10% sodium carbonate instead of saturated sodium carbonate. The other thing I'm going to change is I'm going to go back to the azeotropic distillation to get rid of the water. I'm also going to add in some anhydrous magnesium sulfate for that to soak up some of the water. So we'll see, and I'm also going to raise the time that I reflux. I'm going to reflux a lot longer this next time. And we'll see what kind of yield I get. Because I don't know what else to do other than all that. Anyways, you all remember, science is great. And, even a failure, you learn something. You learn what not to do.